Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real tonight. Respect is not something you ask for. It's something you command through how you carry yourself, what you tolerate, and the standards you set. See, too many women are giving away access to their heart, their time, their body, and their energy without requiring a man to earn it. But when you build strong boundaries, not walls, a man has no choice but to honor you, value you, and respect you. Because boundaries tell a man exactly who you are, what you stand for, and what you will never allow. So tonight, I want to share with you 6 boundaries that make a man respect you forever. A woman must have the boundary of self-worth. Now, let me tell you something straight from the heart. When you walk in your worth, everything about how people treat you starts to change. The way you talk, the way you move, the way you respond, it all tells the world what you believe about yourself. See, too many women out here are trying to convince a man to see their value instead of knowing it for themselves. But baby, if you don't know your worth, no man ever will, because a man can only rise to the level of what you believe you deserve. When you carry yourself like a woman who is worthy of love, time, and respect, you automatically set a standard. You don't even have to say it. It's written all over how you live your life. When you truly value yourself, you stop entertaining things that drain you. You stop explaining to people why they should treat you right. You stop allowing inconsistency and confusion to be your normal. You realize that your peace is too precious to be disrupted by someone who doesn't know what they want. And when you start moving like that, men take notice, because confidence is magnetic, but desperation is repelling. A woman who values herself doesn't beg a man to choose her. She chooses herself every single day. She's not waiting for validation from anyone because she already knows she's the prize. And when a man senses that, he either rises up to your level or he walks away. And trust me, if he walks away, that's protection, not rejection. Self-worth is about understanding that your love, your attention, your energy, they're investments, not handouts. You don't just give them to anyone who smiles at you. You require consistency, respect, and effort before you open your heart. That's not being cold, that's being wise. You can have a warm heart and still have strong boundaries. You can be kind and still say no, because self-worth doesn't mean arrogance. It means self-awareness. It means knowing that you deserve love that adds to your life, not one that confuses or diminishes you. Every woman needs to remember that men don't respect what's always available. They respect what's valuable. Diamonds aren't found everywhere. That's what makes them precious. And a woman who knows her worth becomes that diamond in a world full of imitation jewelry. She doesn't chase, she attracts. She doesn't compete, she shines. She doesn't settle for attention when she deserves devotion. And when a man meets a woman like that, it shifts something inside him. He knows he can't bring games to her doorstep. He knows he has to come correct or not come at all. So when you walk in self-worth, you're not just setting a boundary, you're setting a vibration. You're saying to the world, I'm not for everybody, And that's okay. You're saying, I know what I bring to the table, and I'm not afraid to eat alone. That kind of confidence makes a man step back and say, that's a woman I can't play with. That's a woman I need to respect. And that right there is how you teach the world how to treat you, by how you treat yourself first. Never let a man cross your emotional boundary. Let me tell you something powerful. Your emotions are not a playground for someone else's confusion. They are not a toy for someone to pick up when it's convenient and drop when they're bored. When you love someone, it's natural to care deeply, but love should never cost you your peace. Peace is the foundation of your strength, and when you start protecting your peace, that's when you start protecting your power. A lot of women mistake love for endurance. They think if they just hold on a little longer, he'll change, he'll see her worth, he'll do right. But let me tell you, a man doesn't change because you suffer silently. He changes when he realizes your peace is non-negotiable. When he knows that you will not allow your emotions to be tossed around like they don't matter, he starts respecting them. Your emotional boundary is what keeps you from being drained by someone who hasn't even earned access to your heart. You can care about a man, but that doesn't mean you have to let him pull you into his chaos. Some women are constantly trying to fix broken men, thinking love will heal him. But baby, love doesn't fix what a man refuses to repair within himself. All it does is break you in the process. That's why you have to draw the line and say, I can love you, but I won't lose myself for you. The moment you protect your emotional space, you begin to teach him how to approach you with respect, consistency, and clarity. A woman who sets emotional boundaries is not cold, she's courageous. Because it takes strength to walk away from what hurts you, even when your heart wants to stay. It takes maturity to say, I won't respond to every call, every text, or every mood swing. When you stop reacting to every emotional storm, you start controlling your weather. A man will test those boundaries at first. He'll try to see how far he can push, how much he can get away with, but at the moment he realizes you won't fold, that's when he starts adjusting his behavior. Because a man respects a woman who respects herself. Don't let anyone guilt trip you into thinking protecting your emotions makes you selfish. It makes you wise. You are not responsible for managing a grown man's insecurities, anger, or emotional instability. That's his job, not yours. You're responsible for keeping your heart safe, your mind clear, and your energy balanced. Because when you're emotionally drained, you can't love deeply, you just survive. And love was never meant to make you feel like you're drowning. When a man sees that you won't let him disturb your peace, it shakes him. It makes him realize he's dealing with a woman who knows her worth. Because a man can charm a woman who's desperate for love, but he can't manipulate a woman who's at peace within herself. That kind of woman is untouchable. She doesn't argue. She doesn't beg. She doesn't chase. She simply withdraws her energy and lets silence speak for her. And that's silence. That's the loudest message you can ever send. It says, my emotions are sacred and only those who honor them are allowed to stay. That's the power of emotional boundaries. It turns love from chaos into clarity, and it turns you from an option into a standard. Have the boundary of standards, not desperation. See, a lot of women out here are confusing having standards with being too picky. But let me tell you something. There's no such thing as being too picky when it comes to your peace, your happiness, and your future. Standards aren't about demanding perfection. They're about protecting your value. They're the rules you set for how you want to be loved, treated, and respected. The moment you start lowering those standards out of fear of being alone, fear of losing someone, fear of missing out, you start teaching a man that he can do less and still keep you. And once a man learns that, you've lost his respect. You have to stand firm in what you expect, not because you're trying to control anyone, but because you refuse to settle for anything that doesn't align with your worth. When you have standards, you don't entertain mixed signals. You don't allow half-effort love. You don't keep making excuses for inconsistent behavior. You simply recognize that not every man deserves access to you. The problem is, too many women have been taught to be understanding even when it hurts them. But understanding doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. You can forgive someone and still say, I won't let this happen again. That's what a standard looks like. It's a clear line that says, this is what I will accept and this is what I won't. When a man meets a woman with standards, he knows immediately that he can't play games. She's not impressed by charm. She's impressed by consistency. She's not swayed by sweet words. She's moved by real actions. She's not waiting for potential. She's looking for proof. And that alone makes a man step up. Because the truth is, men love challenges. But the challenge they respect the most is the woman who refuses to compromise her standards just to be chosen. When he sees you're willing to walk away rather than settle, he realizes he has to rise to meet your expectations or lose his chance altogether. Standards are not about arrogance. They're about clarity. You're not saying you're better than anyone. You're saying you know what you bring to the table, and you're not afraid to eat alone until the right person comes along. There's power in that kind of patience, because when you wait with purpose, you attract with strength. Desperation will always attract users, but standards attract protectors. When a man sees that you've drawn that line in the sand and you mean it, he starts to evaluate himself differently. He asks, what do I need to do to be worthy of this kind of woman? And that's how respect is born, not from demanding it, but from demonstrating it through your boundaries. So don't ever apologize for having high standards. You're not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong man. The right one will see your standards not as obstacles, but as opportunities to prove himself, because deep down, men respect the women who make them work for love, not the ones who hand it over for free. When you lead with standards, you teach him how to love you right. And more importantly, how to never take you for granted. You must set a physical boundary. And I'm not just talking about intimacy, though that's a big part of it. I'm talking about your space, your presence, your energy, and the respect that comes with it. Too many women have been taught that giving their body too soon or giving access without demand for respect first is a way to keep a man. But let me tell you, that's backwards thinking. Your body, your touch, your physical presence is not a reward, it's a privilege, and it should be treated that way. When you hold your physical boundaries firm, a man starts to understand that access to you is earned, not given freely, and that's a powerful lesson in respect. Physical boundaries show a man that you value yourself and your worth. When you don't rush into physical intimacy, when you insist on mutual respect and understanding before giving yourself fully, it communicates something deeper than words ever could. It says, I am not an option, I am a priority. You can't have me just because you want me. You have to earn my time, my energy, my love, and my body. That kind of standard creates tension in the best way. It challenges him, it motivates him, and it forces him to step up. Because a man respects a woman who doesn't give everything for free. He respects a woman who makes him prove himself first. Setting a physical boundary isn't about playing games or testing him. It's about self-respect and self-preservation. You are protecting your energy and your heart from being taken lightly. Every time you compromise your body without seeing respect first, you teach a man that he can do the minimum and still get maximum access. And that's dangerous because it conditions him to take you for granted. But when you hold your boundary, he learns quickly that if he wants you, he's going to have to bring his best self. He's going to have to match your standards with action, effort, and consistency. That's respect in its purest form. Your physical boundary also extends to how you allow others to treat your presence and energy. If a man wants to be in your life, he should honor your time, your space, and your priorities. Don't allow him to impose, manipulate, or pressure you. If he truly cares, he will respect your limits. And the moment he sees you are unwavering, he realizes that you are serious, that you are disciplined, and that you are someone who is not easily swayed. Men don't respect women who bend to every demand, who are constantly available, or who let their body speak for them before their heart or mind does. They respect women who lead with integrity, self-respect, and intention. Holding a physical boundary transforms the dynamic of your relationships. It shifts power from desperation to dignity. It forces a man to see your worth not just as a fleeting desire, but as something meaningful, sacred, and reserved for those who are willing to rise to the occasion. When you maintain this boundary, you are not being difficult, you are being strong. You are teaching him how to honor a woman, how to step up, and most importantly, how to respect someone who knows her value and refuses to compromise it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the kind of respect that lasts forever. You must have a boundary for communication, and let me be real with you, communication is the heartbeat of respect in any relationship. If a man can't talk to you straight, if he ghosts, gives you half truths, or plays